How's it going, everyone? It's David Sinclair-Black here, Managing Director of Sinclair Media Group. Got another customer interview today with the one and only Steve Marinangeli. How are you doing, Steve?
I'm doing good, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Thanks for asking. And thank you for coming on the customer interview.
Sure.
If for those watching aren't familiar with the format, the purpose of these customer interviews is to kind of display some of the successes that we've had with artists, and Steve being one of those. So we're going to ask Steve a couple of questions about his music career, the results that he saw with Sinclair Media Group, and any advice that he would have for other artists out there while he's been with us. But Steve, why don't we kick it off, man, by take me back to where everything started for you as a musician, kind of leading up to where you are today, and just your story within the music industry.
Sure. Well, I'm not that long into the business. I only started last year in April.
Wow.
Where I started writing songs. And yeah, it was the whole pandemic, so everyone was looking for new challenges and do something at home.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't really go anywhere. So yeah, I started discovering that I like writing lyrics.
Yeah.
And some friends encouraged me to maybe see if I can turn them into a song. Right. So I was looking for possibilities to get my lyrics turned into a song. And that was like the first steps I did into my music career. I released my first song in June, I guess, 2020. And a lot of people were amazed and surprised because they wouldn't know that I would start music out of nowhere.
Right.
So the song did pretty well and got a huge response from fans or families or people that I know. And so I thought to myself, why not continue and write more, put more music out. And yeah, until then I released now an album, which also got album of the week here in one of the biggest radio stations here in Luxembourg.
That's brilliant.
So for me, it was a big achievement. I also had 2 #1 singles on iTunes here in Luxembourg, which also was very big for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, currently I have like 13 to 14 singles out and looking to release more in the future.
That's brilliant, man. Yeah, I mean, I didn't actually realize that you only started in last year, which is really, really impressive. I mean, with the song that you mentioned that you released first, was that Sacrifice? What was the first song that you released?
The very first song I released was Rescue Me.
Right.
And I guess that sits around 40K on Spotify.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess the song which really got a big of the breakout for me was Sacrifice, because that did very well, because I had like interviews for a radio station or a podcast in Mexico.
Wow.
Or I was invited to be on a podcast show in the US. So that was really the song which got the biggest reach and where a lot of people discovered me as a songwriter.
Yeah.
And it's really the song which did best until now. Yeah.
That's brilliant. And some other notable things to mention as well is that obviously with the release of This Time that you did with Anna, and for those that are listening that don't know who Anna is, it's Anna B-E-A, really talented singer-songwriter from here in the UK, actually. Steve's in Luxembourg. And you got into, was it Luxembourg's or one of Europe's largest TV shows or something like that? What was the name of the channel?
Yeah, exactly. I got invited to Planet People.
Yeah.
And that's like a TV show here in Luxembourg where they do interviews with people who are doing something special.
Right.
And yeah, before I was releasing This Time, I guess it was the day of the release, they invited me into the studio to talk a bit about my career and what I am doing, because some people thought that I also sing. So it was like the perfect opportunity also for me to tell them that I'm the songwriter and into the productions, but not really the singer.
Right.
And yeah, this time with NRB was also the first collaboration I did with a more well-known artist, or at least she's an upcoming artist which has a lot of potential,
Yeah.
because she's doing gigs in bars, and I guess she was also doing a festival not long ago.
Yeah.
So she has a great potential and a very good voice.
Yeah.
And yeah, to have her on one of my records was brilliant. And so that got me into the interview at TV.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a very good experience for me.
That's brilliant. So you've been with Sinclair Media Group now since January of this year. So it's coming up to about close to around 11 months, which will
Yeah.
then close to be a year, which is kind of crazy to think about. What would you say? Well, actually, let me ask you, what were your kind of expectations before joining Sinclair Media Group? Like, we got on that call back in January, and what were kind of your expectations in working with a marketing agency like ours? And what happened for you once you joined us? And final to that, what would you say are some good experiences that you've had with us, and things that you've learned across the way, and things that have really helped you progress within your music career?
Well, yeah, one of the expectations was to gain like a bigger knowledge of the whole music industry, because as I was very new to all of it, I had zero knowledge of how some things work.
Right.
And yeah, that was maybe also one of the issues I had, because I was maybe signing the wrong contracts early at my career. So yeah, that was one of the expectations I had, just to gain more knowledge of the whole business, what I have to be aware of, what should I try to not get into, and what are the positive sides also.
Right.
And yeah, because even though you're also young, but you have already some years of experience, because you were like a beat maker or a producer.
Correct. Yeah.
And yeah, you were working at a young age already in the industry, so you have like some years of experience already.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you did some good experience and bad experience. So
yeah, for sure.
That was one of the reasons. And also because we are more or less the same age, so we are kind of on the same level, maybe.
Yeah.
Just you have
Yeah.
more experience. So that was like cool for me, because you also showed interest in my music, and it was kind of, you discovered me a bit and you came to me.
Right.
And yeah, that was like the beginning of our cooperation, I think.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah. So started off as a music producer in 2016. Started out producing beats online, selling them online for a brand called DSBBeats. Grew that to 25K on Instagram, 70,000 generally online. And I signed a management deal with the second largest rap management company, Dirty Money UK, in 2019. And I worked with Lexi Pantera, Ayo and Teo, and that was just in a 3-year period. So like, my experience in the music industry was quite condensed, and I learned a lot in a short period of time. And I think, as with anything, like, it's kind of that thing of your 10,000 hours, putting in your 10,000 hours. I've probably done 10,000 hours plus. Well, maybe. I know that 10,000 hours is a lot of time, but yeah, man, like the experience, and as a result with Sinclair Media Group, is like I couldn't be doing what I'm doing right now without those learning curves, for sure. And we continue to learn a bunch as well. Like, we're learning every single day things that work and don't work. Like the piece of art is never finished, for sure. So what would you say some of the biggest kind of things that you've taken away, having now worked with Sinclair Media Group, have been? Like, when you look back to January, before the album was released, before this time was released, looking back at it now, what are some of the biggest things that you've taken away from it? Was it an exposure thing? Was it more kind of on the educative side? Was it a mixture of both? And what would you recommend to other artists? Would you recommend Sinclair Media Group to other artists? And if so, what is it that you took away from it that you would recommend to them?
Well, what really helped me was, firstly, because of the help of Sinclair Media Group, I got to know a bit more about my fan base.
Right.
Because it was, for me, it was hard, that because I was a new artist, and it was hard to like build up a fan base.
Right.
And we started, if I'm not mistaken, with an email campaign and
Correct.
Instagram and Facebook ads.
Yeah.
So that gave me a bit the opportunity to know, okay, where the listeners from, what age, what gender, and all these statistics that you can look into it. So that helped me to get to know a bit more about my fan base, and also we knew, okay, they also like music from these artists and all of that. So that was like the first big thing I learned with the help of you guys. Another was also like how to do adverbs through social media. So
Right.
what's important if you post like a new picture or something, what's important to have in it, and how you can reach a bigger audience, not just reach your closest friends, but what's interesting for other people and how to make them interesting in your music. So
Yeah.
what can
So
you
like
do?
the branding side of things.
Exactly. So that was
Yeah.
also something I learned from you. And yeah, I would definitely recommend working with you because it's a very good communication. Because
Yeah.
whenever I am in need with something, we have like Slack, so you can just drop a message and you get a message back within minutes. We did weekly calls,
Yeah.
so those were like probably 1 hour long, so you could talk about anything you liked on these calls, and
Yeah.
which was good that I already felt like I was informed very well, and it was also, you didn't have like some things which are very hard to do, so
Right.
it was very easy to try those things out, and mostly they turned out pretty good because we also did Spotify playlist
Yeah.
movements, and yeah, the numbers grew bigger and bigger, and as a result more people listened to my songs, and that also got me the opportunity that the radio station here started playing my songs more and more. It was
Yeah.
also an opportunity to get like this interview on TV,
Yeah.
and yeah, it just helped me in general. So I had a very, very wonderful experience until now, and can wait to see what will be in the
What's
future.
next? Yeah. That's brilliant, man. Thank you for that. And yeah, I think you're in an interesting position because you're the only artist that I've worked with that isn't an artist per se. You're a songwriter, so
Yeah,
you live through the artists that you work with. As Steve mentioned, he doesn't sing himself, and like the songs that you listen through to of his are with another artist, but the song that you're listening to is him. So you're in an interesting position because the way that you're going to become known and established in the industry is very, very different from an artist that I would work with, because we've got to brand them in an entirely different way. Like for yourself, it's your brand is going to be defined by the level of the artist that you work with, as well as yourself, right? Like it's a similar thing with DJ Khaled. DJ Khaled is only as good as the artist that he worked with.
mm-hmm.
But equally, who DJ Khaled is and his personality and what he does at the end of the day too. But if you take Drake away from DJ Khaled, if you take away French Montana, if you take away Rick Ross, like who is he? And of course, he still is, a wonderful personality and is very entertaining, etc. But both of those things go hand in hand, and it's similar for yourself. In as much as you're only as good as the artist that you work with, but at the end of the day, people have got to know who you are as well, because it's a Steve Marinangeli record. It's not a Drake record or above. You've got to have your own unique signature, and that has to resonate throughout everything. But most importantly, and this is what you were touching on earlier with the fans and collecting the data and knowing who your fans are, is the fans have to know who you are, and they have to know what you do in the song. So like, in fact, stuff that I would really recommend for you, man, because we're briefly just touching on branding. But if you could get some footage of you in the studio, like writing a record, or even just at home, like it doesn't have to be in a studio, like whatever your process is, show people the inside of your musical life. I think that can be a really good next step for you. And yeah, man, I'm really looking forward to seeing where you take things as we approach 2022. You're still, you're doing some great stuff this early on. And I think, yeah, man, like the next step for you, scoring some distribution deals or something like that, especially getting some of your songs on sync as well, I think could be a big thing. But yeah, man, really appreciate you coming on. And, for those that want to connect with you online, where can they find you?
Well, I'm most active on Instagram. It's at Steve Marinangeli. So it's spelled altogether like my name. I also have like a Facebook page, which is stevemarinangeli.music. And I also have like a YouTube channel where I upload all the official music videos or lyrics videos, also under the name of Steve Marinangeli, and of course Spotify. So actually everywhere where you can stream or listen to music, I'm there. Just I'm not that active on SoundCloud, but all the other platforms you can find me there.
I don't think anyone's active on SoundCloud anymore, so that's some good news. But no, I appreciate you coming on, man, and look forward to speaking to you soon.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you. See you soon, Steve.